Good morning, boys and girls, moms and dad, everybody in viewer land. So we're here for Generator Garbage Monday. Welcome to the channel again. And we have our champion dual fuel that we're going to discuss here today. And he's all ready to go and be examined. What's that? The emergency weather alert. There's bad storms coming in your area. Could be power failures, high winds, and long-term power failures too. So that would be bad. So you have your generator and you're all ready to go. But are you really ready to go? Just because you have the generator doesn't always mean you're ready to go. You have power right now and everything's good in your home. So why don't you take a couple minutes to prepare your generator to be put into service? So the first thing you're going to want to do is uncover it, because I keep her covered right there in the corner to keep the dust off of it and keep it looking nice. But you're going to want to check the oil. And to check the oil, I have to put my reading glasses on today, because we're going to be doing some reading too. But you simply go down here and you undo this. This is only hand tightened. Don't use a tool or anything to tighten it. So then you wipe off the dipstick that's on it. Wipe off the little schmutz that you get on there a little bit sometimes. And this you only hand tighten, and it goes in really easy. Be careful not to cross thread and strip and ruin your cap. So it should turn super, super easy. Then you loosen it up again. And as you can see, our oil is at the full mark. So our oil is good. So by doing this now, we know that the oil is going to be good while we start the machine. The machines always have a low oil sensor built in them, so it'll shut down if it doesn't have enough oil. So if you find your machine stopping and starting and it won't stay running, check your oil. It could be the oil. So check the oil and make sure that the oil is good. I change the oil every 6 months or 50 hours. So if I was going to run this for this emergency situation we have coming in for 50 hours, you're obviously going to shut the machine down, let it cool a little bit, and drain the oil and then refill it up. But we've checked the oil, so we know that that's good. The next thing you're going to want to check is your battery. Make sure that the terminals are clean and they don't have any oxidation and that they're tight. Most times, and this goes true for motor vehicles or anything with a battery, your lawn tractors or anything like that, the most common reason things don't start is because of loose or corroded terminals. So check your terminals, make sure that they're good. And then you can put the little rubber boots back over the terminals. So the next thing we're going to want to do, turn on your power. Make sure that it lights up. So it lights up. So we know that we have power for the generator. The battery's probably good. I run my machine every Generator Monday, as you're aware. So we run it every week. So we run this machine every week, and you probably are going to do it every year. And that's the problem. You can't just have a machine full of gas sitting there, going stale, messing up your carburetor, and expect it to work when you have an emergency situation coming. So you want to take care of it and at least run it once a month. Or if you're like me and you get excited about it, have Generator Monday or Sunday or Saturday or some day of the week that you enjoy to do that. Because it doesn't take that long to run it with that quart of gasoline in it. So we have our oil checked. We have that. We have 15 gallons of fresh fuel. Come over here, we'll take a look at that. Sorry, we have 17 gallons of fuel. The tall yellow one's the chainsaw. But I use the gallon for the easier mixes. But I have plenty of gasoline and propane to run my generator. I dump that gasoline every time the vehicles need gasoline. I put that gasoline in my vehicles by using transmission funnel. It makes it easier. So I put that gasoline in the vehicles before it goes bad in a week or two.
But that's two different fuels.
Nope, you use 91 octane gasoline.
Yeah, but
Don't use that ethanol. We
listen,
discussed
no,
that.
no, 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 no. You just said transmission funnel.
It's a funnel.
Doesn't matter.
No.
Okay.
Don't watch behind you. So you run, don't use that ethanol gasoline, fill it up with the 91 premium, and gasoline will keep 6 months, 3 months. So just dump that stuff in your vehicles in a few weeks and rotate it out and always put your fresh in there. That way you're always ready. So as we're discussing fuel, that's where you put your fuel. So, but let's read this warning at the top here. Danger for use in a weather protected area only. Do not expose to rain. Let's read that again, boys and girls. Do not use in a weather protected area only. Do not expose to rain. So you can't put that in the rain. You can't put that in the snow. You can't put that in a foggy situation. What are we going to do? We bought a generator for that purpose, to have it ready to go to take care of us. And right on the top, on the warning label that most people don't read, you can't put it in the rain or in wet conditions, because electric and moisture don't mix. So that's not a good thing. What are we going to do? Well, I just happen to have the answer, as you knew I would. It's called Gentent. The Gentent company makes a Gentent for Champion to match the generator. They're normally gray, but these fine people got together with Champion and made a yellow one to match the generator. Now this carrying case is an extra option, as you can see. It doesn't come with the Gentent kit when you buy it, but we'll go over what you get with the Gentent kit. But I bought the carrying case, and the reason I bought the carrying case is everything I need is with the generator, the carrying case, and my brown milk crate there. And we'll show you what I keep in that too. So you have the carrying case with everything you need. Everything you need comes in this kit, and I keep the 4 of these clamps with the 4 rubber doohickeys with the black centerpiece, and we'll see why we need this. So we're going to put the black centerpiece right here for now, but I've got the 4 clamps. Now you'll notice they all
Put them
have
against your high vis so I can go.
they
slow.
all have an opening. They all have an opening. You don't want the openings to the openings, because it pulls right off the machine easily then. What you want is opposing openings. That's how you'll want to put it together. So I already have 3 clamps on there, as you can see, but we're going to put the 4th one on right now. So just open it up, get it on there, take your time. You're not in an emergency because you're setting this up now. You're not without power. It's not the end of the world. You can take your time and put it together, because that's why we're doing this. We're preparing for the power failure. If we have a power failure, we're ready. If we don't have a power failure, you just got a little experience putting this all together. And then you tighten these up. And once again, our opposing openings are there. All right, so I got my 4 clamps on. Now there's something I have to show you here. It's important to see. You'll notice that the handle for the generator can come up and be moved. You want to make sure that you put your clamps on so that the handle is here and the handle's here. You don't have the handle sticking out here to where you're going to break them off with the handle of the generator. Because once this Gentent's on, we can go ahead and move the generator around. So the generator is able to be moved. because you got those clamps adjusted with the handles on the outsides. All right. The next thing that comes in the kit is the 4 little poles. And you put your 4 little poles in the generator. Then you take your handy dandy little guy here. Now, added note, I took driveway markers and I cut them the length so I have 4 backup poles. Instead of buying these from Generac, you know, the Gen 10 people, sorry, I was stuttering there, but you can make 4 extra poles yourself. When I purchased this bag, I also bought 2 extra clamps, so I have them on hand. They're in the toolbox there. And I bought an extra one of these centerpieces in case something ever happens, so I'm prepared. So then you just take this, you line it up, you put them in. You put them in. And then you bring it over. And you put this one in. Always wear safety glasses when you do this and have a good grip on it because it's kind of spring loaded at this point. And there you go. There's the centerpiece with that. Now we take our Gen tent and you open it up. And it says Champion right on it, all nice. Then go around it, kind of set this up. So see, by preparing before a storm comes, we're already ready. Then you take these 4 Velcro guys, and I always put them behind my little clamps, handles. Put them behind the handles. They say to put them here, but I put them there, that way they won't blow off. This is supposedly good for up to 70-mile-an-hour winds, 18 inches of snow, and I'll put the link for this in today's video so y'all can watch it. So you put it behind there, and then you got it set up now. So you still can see the covers though. So what you do is part of it is this device that just Velcros on here. But there's a problem, isn't there? All you're like, well, where's my controls and the outlets? You can't see them. Well, they just happen to have another thing. I just keep this as a spare. I don't even keep it in this kit. I keep this with my spare items in the toolbox. You can purchase, for an extra amount, of course, one of these handy dandy clear windows. And this, you can see right through. So you just lift this little lip up, and you can see the Velcro right there. And then you just run it right along. And then pull this right down on it. So there's our Gen tent. And if you notice, we can always lift it up and move it around. So you could prepare when the storm is coming to have this ready like this. So when the storm does come, you've got all this work done. You've checked the oil, you make sure the battery's good, you got the Gen tent on, you're ready to go. If you need it, it's just simply pushing it out and doing it. If you don't need it, you just got a little practice putting it all together and you can take it apart later. Now, as we discussed before, some of you are not going to always check your generators. This one does have a pull start. They all have pull starts if they're electric start. So you always got your pull start to use if you need. And you could get a 1.5 amp trickle charger. Since we're not in the situation to where we need it yet, you can take your trickle charger. Don't ever put this on the floor where it's going to get wet, and water and electric, remember? So put it on some kind of non-conductive chair or table or that speaker there. So all you got to do is lift up those boots. Positive is red. You clamp that on. You do the positive first, then the negative. Then you plug it in and you leave it charged for an hour before you need it maybe. It'll charge up your battery. When the battery's done, or you're done with it, you unplug it first, disconnect the ground, then disconnect the positive. So it's positive on first, positive on off last. So you can charge your battery because you're preparing for an event. So today we're gonna run this baby on propane, just for the heck of it. It says this has an easy access fuel door. You can access it to fuel it this way. I don't like that idea because you could spill gasoline and have an issue. They show it easy to fill. I think that's just probably a good idea, but not really a good idea. Just undo those 4 straps, lift the whole gen tent off, use your transmission funnel, fill it, and that way, if you spill gasoline on it, you wipe it up, you let it sit without the gen tent on it. You don't get gas on the gen tent then. And any gas that you wipe up, you let it evaporate. And then it evaporates, and then you're good. So then that's taken care of. Then you can put the gen tent back on. But I would not use the filling port and do the gasoline that way. When you are running a generator outside, you've been running your house for a while, and you hear it stutter and sputter, that's the time to stop and unplug everything out of it because you don't want the generator running and dying with a load on it or starting it with a load on it. So you're gonna unplug it, let it die. Before you fuel it, you never want to fuel a hot machine. You want to let it sit for 5-10 minutes. And that even goes with the LP. I'd let it cool off. Even though it's going to be, out to here, let it cool off. Let it cool off for 5 minutes and it'll be good. Then you can go ahead and fuel it up safely, wipe up any spills, and go ahead and start it up, plug your stuff back in and get everything running back that way. So you never want to fill a hot generator. So right now, over here, I have my one case with this stuff, but I have this case. I keep everything in it. In it is my fuel line for the propane. The fuel line for the propane. I have a wrench that fits the fuel line, and I have some rags for wiping up my spills, so I'm already prepared there. I have my power cable that goes to the house and the generator. I have some chains, and I have like a little emergency funnel in case I forgot my transmission funnel. So I even keep a funnel in there. I keep the chains so I can lock the generator up to the porch, to a picnic table, just something so people can't steal your generator. So I lock my generator up with 2 separate chains and 2 separate locks just to make it hard. And I even use this handy dandy little milk crate to put my propane bottle in. So I put my propane bottle in there and it stands it up, and you'll see that outside. That way it doesn't fall. You don't want the propane to fall on its side because the LP has to be up. So why don't we go over by the Generac at this point, and then we'll come back and start this guy because the Generac's going to be started soon. And we all know how that works. It fires up with or without you. So it's nice out here today. We've had a little snow, like a dusting, and it's blowing at 100 miles an hour winds out here. the last couple days. Today's like a mild breeze, but we no longer have ice on the lake along the shoreline. As you can see, we have some snow on top of the generator, and it's not a lot. It's not a lot. The main thing is the exhaust side is over there, and this is the intake side, and there's no snow on it. So I can just brush this off. And I do this when I do my snow removal. I always clean the generator good, because you don't want it breathing all that stuff in. After last generator Monday, I did a maintenance on here, and I cleaned up everything. You remember a little bit of sand in there, but I used F11 on the whole Generac, inside and out. I cleaned up everything really good, and I clean the air filter. There's a thing, you take the air filter off, take the air filter out, and you could have a little bit of oil. All these motors that you're seeing here today are not liquid cooled, they're air cooled. And with air cooled motors, they use a little bit of oil sometimes. So it's important to check your oil levels and fill them to where they're required. And know the types of oils that they use, and keep those oils on hand. I have enough oils on this to change it like 3 times. I have enough to do my Champion dual fuel like probably 5 times. So you keep that stuff on hand, and you're ready in case of an emergency. If this thing ran 50 hours and the dealer's not here, I happen to have the filter, the oil, and everything to be able to take care of it and change the oil myself in that situation. But you can see the green lights on. It's ready to go. I cleaned out the oil out of the inside of the oil filter. And with these Generacs, Don Johnson might have the problem. Your generator won't start. It's because there's a port charged, and we'll show you that when we clean this thing out next time. It's clogged with a little ice booger that you got to get out of it. But it's from the condensation building up inside that air filter, and then it freezes when it's done. So it freezes. So you get the little block of ice out in a little booger if it develops. But that's why I keep mine on high idle, to try and reduce that condensation, not below idle. But it should be starting any moment here. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, it should be starting any second. There we go. So it's 27 degrees here today, right now. And it started pretty easy because I have the battery heating pad. It's got the trickle charger, and it's got the oil heater. So it's going to run for 5 minutes. And as you remember, green light, it's not producing power. That's the self-diagnostic letting you know everything's okay. So it's going to run for the 5 minutes. Hopefully that'll remain green. I can check it with the Mobile Link app and see that it is good. Right now, if I check the Mobile Link app, it'll say exercising, and when it's done, it'll be the green light, and it'll say, okay, ready to run. So that'll let you know everything checks out. Nothing like a Generac, because I don't have to do a thing. It's already got its enclosure, it's safe, and it's got its gas supply, natural gas. Don, you're on propane. You got the big mother load of the propane tanks there, you're fine. So that's good. Just another note, you never want to run generators near open windows. Now my exhaust side, right here. I'm not going to want that bathroom window open, because where's my CO going to go? It's going to go into the house. So you want, in an emergency situation, I'm going to keep these windows closed so I don't get CO in the house. I have a CO detector that works on the 110 outlets, and it's battery backup in the house. You always want to have a CO detector in your house when you run these things. When you run these things, so that you don't poison yourself and kill yourself or hurt other people. So you want to have a working CO detector, battery backup. And since we just did the clock change, I changed all my batteries on the smoke alarms and my CO detector. Don't forget to do your CO detector. A lot of people forget
Oh
to
wait,
change that
there's
battery.
more.
So change that battery. So we got the CO detector in the house if we were running that. And that way that little kitty doesn't have to breathe CO. But keep those windows closed on that side when you're using that and you're good. So we'll go back in here. All right, so we're preparing to take this baby outside. But today, I'm not going to need the foam, I'm not going to need the extension cords, but I'm going to put my rags in here in case I need them when I'm out there. I got this in there, and my wrench. So by keeping everything together, you got your gen tent together, you got everything you need in the case. Milk crate that I keep on the shelf, so you just got to grab two things. The gen tent case and the milk crate. And you have everything together with the wrench and everything. And then I've got my gen tent already installed. So I'm going to put this by the door because we're going to put it out there. We're going to take that out there. So we would be ready in an emergency situation. Don't hit your head on here, boys and girls, if you come out. I'm just going to put this outside. Come back. All right. Hard hat. Okay, hat's outside. And my crate's outside. So now I can close the door and save the heat. We have our propane bottle right here. And propane, you don't want it on its side because it's a liquid propane. You don't want to put liquid in there. You want it upright while you do this. So I got my handy dandy wrench and my propane adapter. So now I'm going to lift up the little skirt here. I can move it out of the way for now. You unplug the little adapter. And this should thread, it's fine thread, and just take your time and thread it on real gentle. And there goes the Generac, it just shut off. So you do this real gentle, then you give it a little snug with the wrench. Just a little one, you don't have to be crazy. Then you put the wrench back in your toolkit. Bring the propane bottle over. I got the little cap on. Inspect. Yeah. This guy's hard to get off.
My fingers.
Because it's cold. All right, inspect inside there just to make sure that there's no schmutz, you know, because that's what you're going to be pushing into your generator. So just take your finger, kind of clean it out, cobwebs and whatever's in there. Then you line it up. And just take your time, be careful. Now this hose comes with the generator, and then tighten it pretty decent, but not with a tool, not real hard, but just tighten her up. All right, so we got that ready. So right here, as you know, this is the gasoline petcock. When it's down, the gasoline's flowing. When it's crossways, it's shut off. But now, because that's shut off, that lets me move this over. What do you move when they're shut off? This is the propane. So now you're going to turn on the propane right there. So it's down, up and down. So now I can close my gen. Okay, boys and girls, moms and dads. So we have the valve open on the generator. Now this is really important, and none of the manuals have this in there. I've kind of discovered this on my own through other means. You don't want to open the valve fast on the tank, because if you open it, it does a surge, and the gas valve inside the machine gets like a water hammer, and it doesn't work properly. Then the machine will be starting, stopping, running, dying, doing all kinds of goofy stuff, and you're never going to be able to figure it out. The problem is most people open that valve fast, and you don't want to do it fast. So just take your time. Just open it slowly. So by opening the valve slowly, we're not shocking the valve inside the machine. So open that slow. You won't find that in manuals. That's a little tip from me to you. So because this is on LP, you don't need full choke. Just go to half choke, turn it on. Now once it starts, take it off the half choke. So now we're running on propane today, not gasoline. But remember, long-term propane usage, not in today's weather, but in warmer weather, it's cold compressed gas, and it's going to ice up your machine. It's going to ice up the carburetor and all the fuel lines. That ice, when it thaws, becomes moisture, water, and it rusts your machine. So that's why we don't use the propane for our weekly test. I use the gas to dry things out. During an emergency, I use the propane because the propane can just be shut off without running it dry. I don't have to drain out a full tank of gas. Because the 5.7 gallons of gasoline I put in there, it uses a gallon. Well, now I got to drain 4.7 gallons out. That's no fun. So that's why I use the propane, because then you can just shut the propane off when it's dry. Now that our generators run a little bit, we can plug it in, start and stop it. And then we're going to leave it run. And you can see, if it was raining or the snow's blowing, it's not going to be getting into our electric outlets because of the Champion Gen 10 that we get from the Gen 10 Corporation. So the little clear shroud is nice. It lets you see everything. It keeps you nice and safe. So we're going to let the generator run for a few minutes with the vacuum running on it. We'll come back. So we're going to take the camera lady in the warm garage at this point, and we're going to pause the video and we'll come back. Dog break. Okay, boys and girls, we're back. So we were inside for just under 10 minutes. So run out here. We've had the power of the vacuum running the whole time. So we're going to shut it off. Shut her down, as Marty would say. Shutting her down. So we got her shut down. And now the generator's not producing power. Unplug it. So we're just going to let it run for a minute here for cool down. You don't want to unplug it. If you hear it stuttering and sputtering, it's important that you stop it from making the power, let it cool down, then shut it down. You can shut the petcock down if it's the gasoline, or you can turn off the bottle. And then you can refill it. You can have your next bottle ready to go. So now, we're going to go ahead and shut off the bottle. Just like that, she's done. It's dry. So you can shut off your battery to save it. And then shut off your gas valve right there. Then the next thing you do is you get your handy dandy wrench. Oh, one thing I forgot to say, when we hooked all this up before we started, you just kind of listen for leaks. And I did do that. I'm not used to explaining everything I do. Then you unloosen that. Undo it, make sure there's no leaks, because if you hear leaks, you shut that off already, and it'd be singing. So you would shut that off or put it back on to stop the leak. So then that's off, and you take this off, and it's not going to fold up so good out here today because it's cold. Let's see. Oh, look at that, I got it in. So I can put this wrench back in here. I got that in there, and I can even put my handy dandy cap back on my propane, because I know that this one's a full bottle that way. So that's it for the emergency system that we have here for the Champion dual fuel, and you can take it all apart. Now if this was an emergency, I would have it sitting in the garage ready to go. I would have it sitting in the garage. I would run it. I would have done everything I did here today just to prepare, but now I know it's ready to go. So I keep my crate by it, I keep my LP outside, I put it by the house, and I got my cord in the garage. Then I would just wheel it up to the house and plug her in, and we'll be doing that on a warmer day. But that's it. And then after the emergency passes, if you need it, or didn't need it rather, you could just take it all apart, and you're good to go. So thanks for tuning in. Hope you learned something, had some fun. Ciao bella, sayonara, adios, boys and girls.